Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to another episode of World of Tanks. I'm your host, REALtedTOKEZ444, as always. Listen, we got some decent matches today. They're pretty good. It is from two different sessions, though. We got a couple matches. The first two will be from, what is that, 6/28/25 it says, and then the second two matches will be from January 19th of 2025. So we got some from 6/28, the first half, and the second half is from 1/19, all 2025 footage. Made a nice initial scout. You can see I pulled up to the front there. We got ourselves a couple of spots. Alright, now as you can see, we've only really dealt with one light tank up in this field. It's got a little bit of overwatch, that's why it's trying to bait us over there, not just take on the challenge or run. The problem with this match, this is going to be the amount of pressure being applied to the city, because now currently we get to see, after I get some spots there and the teammate, fails at it. Listen, you guys cannot sit around. You probably saw you were only fighting half the team as the whole team. Why would you sit there in that 1 to 4 lines situation on this map? That's ridiculous. You're pretty much just gonna allow yourself to be backdoored. Inevitably, it's just a matter of time. And the only thing that's gonna stop them is like pretty much me in a light tank, stopping a whole group of players trying to get around the map, trying to rotate our base on the back end of our team. The problem is, you can see that they started to push, right? There is progression in their squad units, right? However, it took until they saw that it was definitely half of the team over in the field fighting 1 or 2 light tanks at any given time. The whole time, they were just sitting there waiting to put, when they could have pushed, and we probably would have found out that half of the team was over there and dead now, before they even found out that half of the team was over there, probably still doing the absolute nothing, but the little bit of something somebody else already likely did for them. Eventually, they'll get to do that. But that's what they want to do, so let them. We just got finished right there. We could only light tank for so much. I actually lived a lot longer than I thought I would in that situation, watching back at it. But, it is what it is. You're just going to give the enemies free wins game after game because people don't actually want to play it. But that's what you get for playing them by default. That guy did not, you don't have to chase them around like that, right? You can still chase them around effectively and successfully even, but you're just following them into the situations that the enemies want you in. You guys have to learn how to actually play the game, and you won't get put in those situations. You'll be the ones putting the enemies in those situations. For example, you guys see me run around, go out there and die 50% of my matches, as you say, and then the other 50% you're wondering how the hell I just dismantled you and your support and your support system. You know what I mean? All because you guys don't actually know how to play the game very well. If you did, we wouldn't have 75% of the community trying to be Overwatch. Now, I know I'm just playing console these days. I haven't played PC in a long time. I stumbled back on it a while ago, for like a few months when I downloaded the Game Pass for PC, and I started to play it on there because my Xbox broke, and I had to get the one I got now. Eventually, I had a different one before this one. This one's a Series X. That's why the gameplay is a lot better. Also, it's not just that. The resolution would probably still be just as trash, because of the capture card I was always using. However, now I got Elgato 4KX, so we're going to learn how to be using that thing. And if you haven't noticed, the matches do come in a lot cleaner. It is a lot better of a resolution, very little blur, unless I take it from the screen. Then every once in a while there's a little bufferage, little screen blurriness. But no, the stuff looks really good now on this new capture device. Now the problem is with this capture device, I don't know how to record, I don't know how to capture and broadcast to the stream with it at the same time. So I might have to figure that out. Maybe get a second one and just see if they can like daisy chain, and then it'll just take two of them to do it. But there's got to be an easier way to do it than that. So, you know, I got it working in as much as I need it to right now. Haven't really messed with it too much or tried to figure it out, but we'll figure that out eventually, maybe, as long as the assets are always available to me. Alright, back to the game though. We can see a nice going on. You know, trying to get some points out of the enemy before they cook our team. Because this is a 7v14 right now. I don't understand how people can get to a 7 versus 14 if they were actually good at the game or actually playing. It actually looks like, you know, given the fact that all these teammates are pretty much nowhere near an enemy except for the enemies that came to them, right? They're not really doing anything, and now they're distracted by the enemies that came to them. No longer able to protect themselves from the Overwatch. We're probably going to see tanks start to get chipped away. I probably shouldn't have connected tanks with that little ram. Did more damage to me than I would have liked to take at that point. It didn't matter, but as you can see, that 400 or whatever amount of hundreds of damage that I did take in random, it would matter right now. Now, granted, that guy's only at like 100 and something, you know, 2-shot from me almost. Hey, that's what happens though. We almost walked out of it with 4 of them in a match where the enemies didn't even lose but that many tanks. Almost. You know, I don't know, guys. You'll see it on the stamp right there in the top right. The match time, the matches when they were. What is this? All right, so these two might be the 628s. Hold on. Just have to look that a bit. Alright, here's the next match. This one's from the middle months of 2025. Took the Leopard 2A5 out for a drive, and instead of being able to find half the enemy team and maybe beating them, with or without help this time, doesn't matter to me anymore, we got stopped by a thumper. And as you can see, I'm trying to hit right there underneath the turn in that window hole, maybe above the hall, even between the turn and the stone that it's hiding behind. But you know, this thumper gave me a pretty big problem here. You know, so since the game wasn't gonna let me land any of my shots, even though I thought most of them were pretty spot on into that underneath the barrel and or window section. But, see, now that's actually being hauled down. Whatever the fuck that player in the first couple episodes of my playlist was talking about, he was still alive and he's better than us because he was hauled down. And I was trying to explain, that fucking guy wasn't even hauled down, talking about he was hauled down. That right there, what that thumper was doing, that was hauled down. Hiding from the fucking battle, putting your armor behind terrain, that's not being hauled down. You're just being a fucking coward, hiding from it, you know what I mean? that thumper was not hiding from the battle. I still had shots on it, and it had good enough armor on the turret to you know, not get screwed. It had enough armor, period. Alright, we made a nice push. You know, after getting done with that thumper, we decided to push through the hallways. Lose a teammate on the approach. Eventually, we get through the smoke. Find another teammate, showed up next to it, found us. We get a nice little track right there. Or crit, whatever it was. Oh, I get blasted by a missile though. Good old-fashioned REALtedTOKEZ444 hiding for a free point. You know, but then again, we were in the hallways and down by the harbor. What's the chance we'd have seen a REALtedTOKEZ up on the front line where we would have had to encounter it? You know, that's why we didn't encounter that and never noticed him until we decided to take that free point. I mean, unless, besides the emblem on the map, if the REALtedTOKEZ ever was. Decent match. Not very good one, though. They did win, so good for them. But if you ask me, that's kind of a crappy match because the stats show that they didn't really work together. The best players didn't do much of supporting activities. So, you know, kind of a shit game, you know? Everybody had a worse outcome because that's how good we got to do instead of that's how good we get to do. Got a nice little flank after that push. We're going to try and bridge the gap, obviously. A lot of them enemies up on that hill could manage to get what I call free points. That's the situation that I love to be in, right? Even if I'm on the front line, because I'm not going to be on Overwatch too often, but say, you know, hypothetically, the situation is the front line, okay? Now, me sitting up on that hill, looking around, you see all that field, right? That tells me that I can shoot probably 3 bullets at the tank before it bridges that gap, right? So that's why they'll do stuff like that, because the whole time, you may be the only one to push on your team. Which means that enemies now win with those 3 shots that you get in the 15-20-second gap that you need to bridge to get those 3 shots off. Maybe even tracking you with one and adding time for another shot. However, when the whole team pushes, they're not as likely. I know for myself, I'm not as likely to win that because I can't pick each one off as they try to bridge that gap. That's why whenever I start to get dogpiled, you'll see me hitting the reverse. I don't care what's behind me. I don't care if there's teammates that are going to end up in front of me. I'm hitting the reverse. Why? Not because I'm retreating, but because I want to keep all of those enemies to my best armor. Alright, but that's this episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna get back to making some more. And, yeah, enjoy the rest of it. This match will be finished up pretty soon. Fast forward it for you. And, hey, you know, I want to say thank yous if you watch these.